Right, here's something a bit different for you to look at today. I've got a cylinder mower and it was in a bad state, to be honest. Not worth having it sharpened properly, it costs too much. But it's worth having a go just to see if we can make it cut. I was going to put it in, but there's no mounts, and one end had to have a centre, it didn't have one, and you've got to put an angle grinder on, and it was not going to work properly. So I thought, well, I'll just sharpen it first and have a look. And all I did was I got my angle grinder with a sanding disc on, like that, and I just tried it. I just ran it over the blades. I guessed the angles, but they might be somewhere near. I don't know. But it'll certainly be better than it was. In fact, I've got this lump of angle iron here just to show you what it was like. Now, the bottom blade was actually worse than that. It was blooming terrible. This is the bottom blade, of course. That's it. And it was concave in the middle. That means it was going down in the middle. I mean, you can see, look how bad it was. I mean, it was blooming terrible. Anyway, I did it with the grinder and I got it more or less straight, and then I flattened it with the file, so it shouldn't be that bad. It's certainly a lot better than it was. So that's got that one done. And then to do this, I thought, right, well, we'll make a sharpener out of a bit of wood. Now, how do you do that? Well, it's just to measure it, actually. I did leave it a bit higher, but I cut the ends off it, just there, cut those off, just so I could get to it with the grinder while it was on. So I'll show you what I've done, and you'll see it's well, it's not come that bad. It's come to about 1 thou, which I'm not terribly unhappy about, but I'll show you. So all I did, I bored 2 holes there in the wood that are tight fit, so that just turns around quite nicely and it holds it properly. It doesn't move, so that's quite good. Now, I've got a dial gauge, so I just put a piece of wood on the front and screwed it on in different places, and then I marked the high points on there and just marked them all, and then I ground a bit off and tried it. That's how I've done it and moved along. It's not going to be perfect, but it's certainly a lot nearer than it was. So I'll just see if we can zoom the camera in enough to show you the dial gauge that I've got, and just see if you can see it or not. I'm not sure if you I'll just have to pull that to there. I think you can see it, actually. Yeah, I think you'll be able to see that. Let me just turn it a bit. There we are. I think you can see it now. This dial gauge is in tenth to 1 thou. Each of those large divisions are thous, and if you look, I'll put my hand in the way now. When I turn it round, look, see the needle move, and that's on naught. Right, you've got to be smooth, and if you look, that's just a touch. That one's not 1 thou above. That one's about 1 thou above, and that one the same. So it's somewhere near, and I've moved this along. I just screwed it to this piece of wood. I'll just zoom out again, you'll be able to see it. I've on this piece of wood on the front, and I've just screwed it to that. Now, also I want to show you what we're actually talking about, 1 thou, and people don't understand this. So there's a very simple way of doing this, very simple way. Now, can you see that hair? Right, this micrometer, an 0-1 micrometer. Well, if you can see that hair, right, that I'm measuring with this, well, if you look at the barrel there, you should be able to see it's on 2 thou. right, which is, I haven't got my glasses, well actually that's moved, oh dear, no it's on 2,000, yeah, I should have put my glasses, shouldn't I? Right, it's on 2,000. If you take the hair out and wind it up, it goes to naught, and those lines there line up. Where are we? Bit hard to see, this is on here. Just, and I'm working upside down. There we are. You can see that that line is lined up there. Look, and if you put the hair in and tighten it up exactly the same, there. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Dear. Not got it in the middle. There we are. Well, it's a fraction under, right? Where's the line gone? There we are. Give it a minute to focus. Normally it does. Come on. Anyway, if you see that, there's 0, 1, 2. 2 marks, see? So, what we're talking about in roundness is half the width of a hair. We've all got feeler gauges on us. And a hair, like that, that's 2 thou thick. Right? So we're talking, it's round, this is, and I've gone all the way along in places. There might be a high spot or two, but I've gone all the way along in places. The other thing, just while I've got my micrometer out, you've got 2 feeler gauges, and the other one is your thumbnail. And although mine are a little bit thick at the moment, but yet I've marked my thumbnail, and again, I don't know if we can see it. What I'll do, I'll leave the micrometer where it is, take my nail out, and you may or may not be able to see that that is on 20 thou, right? So you've got 2 feeler gauges, and everybody's got these. They're normally within a bit, you know, within a thou or two, they're right. So your thumbnail is 20 thou thick, and a hair is 2 thou thick. So there we are. Anyway, we've got this done, and I've managed to improvise something to do it, because there's no other way of doing it. And as I said, I mean, to leave it like this, I mean, look, I mean, the edge, you can see what that's like, and honestly the edge was like that. It was rounded and rusty, and well, it, you know, it's never cut grass for years, has it? It might cut a thistle if you're lucky, but you know, if it's an inch off a thistle, but that's about it. Right, I thought you might just like to look at that, something of interest.